Endometriosis has affected every aspect of my life.
Severe pain, severe bleeding.
An emotional and physical roller coaster.
My bowels and my ovaries and my womb were all stuck together.
It was so bad. I needed to have a hysterectomy.
I was told that I was just unlucky.
It's just your age, it's just your gender.
It took approximately 8 years.
17 years.
16 years.
Of going back and forth to doctors and hospitals to get diagnosed.
It just makes me feel like I'm wasting my life.
Summed up in a few words, endometriosis. More common in women than diabetes, yet too often ignored or misunderstood.
I think it first started when I was at school. So I used to cry on the whole tile floors in fetal position, in absolute pain and agony.
Vanessa Goffew was waiting to be taken to surgery when we met her in Chelsea and Westminster Hospital in West London.
I'm Victoria.
She was diagnosed with the condition 6 years ago when she was 28, but she thinks she's had it since her late teens, if not before.
I thought initially it was a UTI, and they gave me some pretty strong painkillers to go home with, but and they said, if there was any problems, give them a call. 24 hours later, painkillers didn't kick in at all. Long story short, they were like, I think you need to go to A&E, and that was when, after they did the internal and external ultrasounds, that they were like, yeah, this looks like endometriosis.
With endometriosis, the tissue that normally lines the inside of the uterus grows outside it, sometimes around the ovaries and the fallopian tubes, but it can involve many other organs and spread into the pelvis. It often takes too long to diagnose, on average 8 years. Yet it is a condition that affects 1 in 10 females, and those are just the ones who have been diagnosed. So now a team at this trust are working on an algorithm for family doctors to help them recognise endometriosis.
Almost 2/3 of people are seeing their GP more than 10 times with the same symptoms before we're getting that diagnosis. If we fully understand the factors that can predict endometriosis, when a woman or girl goes to see her GP in future, the GP has the evidence to know which questions to ask, how much weight to put to each of these symptoms, so that over as little as 2 visits, they can ask a number of questions, arrange an ultrasound scan, arrange a blood test, and have a reasonable assessment as whether this person has endometriosis or not.
Vanessa is wheeled to the operating theatre. This is her 4th surgery, and when the camera is placed inside her uterus, her surgeon tells us it is at the severe end of the scale.
So you are in the uterus now. My feeling is bladder is somewhere there, and that's the uterus actually. Yeah, fibroid and uterus. It's not fibroid.
The reason we've been allowed in here today is not just because of the amazing robotic surgery, although it is impressive, but because the team wants there to be more awareness of endometriosis, this condition that affects so many women, and yet there is still so little known about it. And the fact is, this is a condition that has long been neglected and ignored, with little funding going into research.
The challenge has been manifold, and then not much investment has been as well in research of endometriosis and providing the resources in the hospital to treat endometriosis. We need a lot more doctors to be trained to excise endometriosis. But along with it, I think more knowledge of the disease.
At another part of the trust, West Middlesex Hospital, Lauren Trepte and Natalie Nunes are recruiting for an Edinburgh University-based trial.
This is looking at from the beginning of the journey that women go under. So we're looking at that diagnosis point. So women that are going for their laparoscopy, having a look, seeing do you have endometriosis or not. And if it's superficial, should we be removing this? Or should we be leaving it alone and doing more sort of medical treatments around this?
On the screen here you can see some of the endometriosis.
Currently women are told to take a painkiller, or they're offered a contraceptive pill or laparoscopic surgery. So yet another trial here will look at a non-hormonal drug to treat the pain, to give women more options. And one of the reasons they've been asked to help with these trials is because the hospital serves an ethnically diverse community.
Some cultures, yes, women won't talk about some of the symptoms of endometriosis because it's a little bit taboo or it's a little bit embarrassing. They don't want to talk about their sexual lives. They will come and say, I want to get pregnant, because that's easier to talk about. And then we begin to explore, well, okay, why are we not getting pregnant? What are the symptoms are you having?
While endometriosis does not affect one ethnicity more than another, there is evidence that Black or Asian women may take longer to come forward for help. And not having the condition diagnosed can mean living in terrible pain, losing time from school or work. It can affect fertility. And then there's that all too common refrain, "It's just a bad period, love. Take a pill and get on with it."